got one life, for crying out loud. You might as well just give it all you got.
The Deej, Dan Jordan.
Your daily dose of reality. Your daily dose of the Deej.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I need my daily dose of the Deej.
I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader.
The Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Listen, don't worry how to sell, baby. Worry about why people buy. And it's fun.
You don't need a 5-hour energy. All you need is the Sales Energizer.
Just when I think it's not going to be as fun as the one before, each one gets successfully better. What's the word I'm looking for? What's it going to take to get you into this car today, huh?
And now, please welcome the Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Boom! That's exactly it. Do that. Let's do that. That time. I see that. It's because you see me backstage like preparing.
I do.
Yeah.
And I have to step back because if I'm doing this, you won't see.
Oh, that's right. You see, you're always thinking about the audience there, Christone. That's the thing about you. I noticed that your thumbnails are getting terrific. You used to have just one style and you could tell you were just plopping and putting different heads in the different thing, but now you're mixing it up. It's crazy. And I like this one especially. Can you pull it up for a second?
Yeah?
Because
okay. Yeah, sure.
See if you can do that. Okay, see the little glow around me? I like that.
Oh, you just now noticing the little glow, Dan?
Yeah,
I've had a little glow around you for well over a year, but
oh, really?
It's okay.
Well, I'm just
it's like, sometimes it's just for me.
Yeah,
sometimes
the thing is, I'm a big picture guy. I'm a sales guy. That's what I do. I'm a big picture guy, and I get stuck with the with the details because I have the attention span of a mosquito sitting on a beetle that's on a dog, and so that I got all sorts of stuff going on.
I don't know where you pulled that one out of, but Pete Primo's in the house, and our guest today, who's backstage eating all the cookies and drinking all the orange juice. He can't wait to jump on. But before we do that, there's a lot of people, Dan, that are watching on all the tubes, but there's really like the only tube that I don't want to say it's the only tube we care about. But it's the one that we feel like is going in the right direction for us and certainly for you. And so if you're watching this show on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitter, all the tubes, we're live on Amazon. If you've never been live on Amazon before, now's the time to check it out. We made it easy for you. And all you got to do is open up a browser and go to thepitchman.live, thepitchman.live.
Thepitchman.live. It's been my dream. It's been my dream ever since, that Billy Mays and that guy and Flex Seal. It's been my entire dream. And then Amazon
has made ShamWow. Remember ShamWow?
I was never a big ShamWow guy. That guy rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. I'm sure he's a decent fellow. Really? I have no problem with him. But actually, I used to go to like county fairs, and these county fairs used to do it. It's a big sales thing, and they're selling their wares and they're selling their pies. They're doing their stuff, and then there's always somebody with the knives and they're playing around with the knives, and the guy with the magic tricks. Oh my gosh, the magic trick guy got me every time. I loved watching the show. I'd sit, everybody else would be on the rides and doing stuff. I'd be watching the show. And so Amazon has made that possible. But do you think those guys at those shows, do you think that they thought about the future at all? Do you think they had they could predict how many customers would buy those items before they arrived at the county fair? Yeah, it's all about analytics and how many people were going to be in front of them. And so the smart people realized that it happens online, and there's all different stuff going on. I know that was a fancy segue to get our guest up
Not
here.
Very fancy, actually.
Which is pretty good. So why don't you go ahead and do that?
Yeah, let's do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to Dan Jordan Live, the executive director at AlgoDynamix, which is the AI-based financial forecasting. It tells you about the future without looking at the past. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Jeremy Sosabowski.
Jeremy, yeah, you got to get the arms.
Do the hand things, guys. I better do the hand things. So great to be on the show.
Very good.
Exciting.
Well, look at you, all the way from you're in some place in the UK. Tell everybody where you're from.
So it's a little village called Cambridge. It's just north of London, basically. So that's
a little village called Cambridge. You know, you think everybody here in the colonies has never heard of Cambridge.
I'm just not assuming anything, Dan. I'll just take it easy. But there's a little village called Cambridge, so that's the.
I mean, it's not it's not a bad assumption to think that we know nothing, but. But here you're on DJ on the Dan Jordan Live. I mean, this is the A game here. All right. Well, listen, I tell you, I personally am very excited to see you, because at the beginning of the year, started messing around with a little crypto.
Interesting. Let me write this down. Yeah. Okay.
Let me write this down. Do you actually use a pen? Let me see. What are you using to write it down?
You haven't tried our software yet, Dan? Sorry for interrupting the flow. You're not yet a customer. Sorry, is that what you're saying, Dan? Sorry, I didn't pick it up.
I love this guy. He's
telling you already.
Come on, I mean the two best salespeople out there have to try and outcompete you guys, right?
Already closed.
You haven't tried our software yet, Dan. Let's follow up afterwards. We'll have a little thing.
Yeah, okay. So let me ask you something, because I could tell just by your speech patterns that you're not a school teacher like for young kids.
Possibly, I have lectures. So, but listen, my day job obviously is running AlgoDynamix.
What is your day job?
My day job is running the show essentially. At the company. I do occasionally lecture. I lecture at the local business school, Dan. Sort of tell the kids how to do sales sometimes, or how to do stuff basically. So I have
this just goes in all sorts of directions. Okay, so what did you say your title was again?
So listen, I'm CEO. I don't like CEO because it means that I'm the big boss essentially. So I like using the term executive director. So there's a few of us. I'm one of the partners, obviously, but yes, I am the CEO, Dan. I am running the whole show. I am taking investment finance. I'm running the whole thing. So you know what it's like, Dan. Come on, you've run a few companies, haven't you?
Okay. So how did you get into this particular line of work? I saw your cup there. Pull up your cup again when you were drinking.
So it's this promotion for
So I saw that. So is that where you started?
No, started in academia, PhD, that sort of thing, as you do around here. And then we know that's what you do in Cambridge. You spin out companies, Dan. You start technology companies, you raise finance, and then you just sell globally, which is what we're doing here. So it's a thing in Cambridge, right? You can be a part-time academic or you can be a proper entrepreneur. So obviously I went for the entrepreneurial route, which is much more interesting. I guess a bit like you guys, right? You can go and work for somebody else or just do it yourself, right? So
so this is great. So Chris Stone, you didn't realize that Jeremy, while being obviously smart, that he has smarts coming out his ears, it's crazy. He also apparently has a personality, and so listen. Was that a big choice for you to go the academic route? Was that the entrepreneurial route?
Right. Good. Listen, really good question. And I think somewhat similar to your case, Dan, you get the parent immigrants and they always tell their kids, work hard time. In my case, it was education. So I thought, let's do the undergrad and the PhDs at some point. It's like, okay, and now I can do my own stuff essentially, right? I've done the education bit.
So you went there. Was that what finally led you to do that, to take that chance? Once you're in one track, it's difficult. It takes a force of nature to move to a different one. What gave you that strength?
Good one, actually. I think it's passion. I really think it's a bit like, you waking up at 4 a.m. every day. It's like, why do you wake up? You wake up because you want to do what you do, basically. And I thought, okay, this is it, guys. I've spent 4 years doing clever quantum mechanic research. Now I'm going to commercialize it. I think it seemed like a sort of natural progression. That's what happened. And this is the story in Cambridge, by the way. You get a few technology entrepreneurs, they're quite clever, but then, the flip side is you have to be commercial too, obviously, right? And then if you combine the two, I think you create great companies, which is what we've done at Algo. But by the way, Dan, Chris, I'm not giving proper credit to the other partners here. So I'm just one of the co-founders here. We have a brilliant team. We have very hardworking people, very clever people, and we've got me. I'm joking about it. At some point there's like, Jeremy, why don't you go and talk to customers? Just go out there, just sell some stuff, leave us alone, basically. And I think that's what
so. What actually does your software do for people?
Yeah. So we'll take it in steps, but the software is price forecasting. So we'll do a little demo afterwards if you guys want.
For any stocks?
Pretty much stocks, cryptocurrencies, commodities, foreign exchange. So anything that is traded somewhere, it can do price forecasting, which is very powerful, right? When you think about it.
In the case of crypto, which is fairly new, and it's an uncontrolled marketplace, so you really don't have much history. How the heck can you forecast it?
Even better. Thank you, Dan. You've done the homework, actually. The problem we've seen around the world is that most of this modeling is looking at the past to predict the future. And I think that's nonsense. I know, Chris, I can see you nodding there. It's like, why would you look at the past to try and predict the future? That just makes no sense. And with the pandemic situation, we've never seen it before. So we've taken a different approach. We said, okay, well, let's only take real-time data, and we're going to look at the behavioral components. So it's not economics, it's behavior. Of course it is. It's the emotional bit, Dan. It's the irrational bit. That's what we look at. So we're looking at the behavioral aspect of all the traders, of all the market participants. And that's what we're doing at AlgoDynamix. So it's the behavioral, emotional components of all the transactions. And we feed it back to you guys saying, well, everybody's going a bit irrational. Everybody's getting a bit panicky. Everybody's getting a bit nervous. We know that means a downside. So that's what it is. In sort of high view terms, like, Dan, did I get this across? Did I sort of express myself about what the software does in terms of forecasting the irrationality? So,
well, yeah, but I have further questions because I'm listening deeply to you.
That's what we're here for. Yeah,
and that is because this is interesting. You're taking real time data of people's behavior, which means you're looking at their behavior that they've done even yesterday and deciding what's going to happen today. How could it be? How do you know if I have to go to the bathroom right now?
Well, I don't know. I don't have the data point on that one. I don't know, Dan. Don't tell me on that one. So listen, the data is exchange. So a bit technical. It's the exchange order books. So there's a queue of people wanting to buy and sell on the exchange. So we're breaking down the order flow at the exchanges, including the crypto exchanges. So just by breaking down the real-time order flow, looking at the behavioral components of all those orders, we can create our forecasting analytics. So clever stuff. It took a few PhDs to get it right, basically, but it's that's what it is.
Well, it took a few PhDs to develop cryptocurrency, so it makes it sense.
It makes sense to get a few more to sort of forecast it.
Yeah. Now, but by the way, why don't you do that? I'll do my best at cleaning up after you confuse everybody. But the easiest way you can explain cryptocurrencies to the uninitiated, uninitiated who perhaps are coming with that question with a bit of trepidation and fear.
Oh, gosh, now you're putting me on the spot. So,
hey, listen, you hear that, Chris Stone, by the way? I just gave like 4 words each with multi-syllabic words. What do you think of that?
You can go to bed after this show.
That's right.
Brilliant, guys. Dan, gosh. Step back. First and foremost, they all, I don't like the term, all of these cryptos, they run on a database. There's a big global giant database. The database is called the blockchain. I don't like the term, but there is a giant global database, and everybody has a copy of the database. The database holds the information about who owns which currencies and which crypto. So it's a big database. And the thing with the database is you can only you guys happy with the database, right? It's got all whatever numbers, names, and everything else. The only way you can update the database is when everybody agrees at the same time to update the database. So that's how you can get your global distributed ledger type thing. And then once you agree that it's a global database and you can only update it when everybody agrees, then you can introduce value, which is the crypto token, blockchain, whatever you call it, the currency. So that's on that one. There's a bit more to it, but just please view it as a giant database.
Okay, well, very, very good. So in essence, what it is, it's a market. A dollar bill only has value because someone says it has value. And so then we all believe that it has value. So another currency was created, and it's not the American government or the British government that's backing this particular currency, but the world.
The world has decided.
Whoever else agrees that it is a currency, they have backed it. So it's much larger. And so, just based on that, it seems more stable. I mean, when you have billions and billions of people who are in that currency, it seems more stable than would be that of one particular country's government's backing.
I think that's a nice way of looking at it, Dan. It's one view, I guess. It is distributed. It is global. Everybody needs to agree. Everybody decided it has value, basically, which is it's fascinating experiment. Think about it. I mean, just imagine, 10, 20 years ago, it's like, guys, can you come up with some new concept of a shared value that everybody agrees on, that has no central government? There's no Uncle Sam to sort of back it up or whatever, basically, or whatever the feds. So lovely concept. It's quite amazing actually how we got there. So is that helpful, Dan? I hopefully got this across. It's the
hey, listen. It's not for me. It's for the car buying public out there. Okay. I mean
the crypto buying public.
Yeah,
the crypto buying public. Actually.
But right. Okay, so with all that, I'm sorry, Chris Stone. Did you have something?
No, you're good. I mean, I kind of wanted to back up a little bit because my squirrel brain, is always looking at historical data. And I know, like you, and I came from the music business, which, there was lots of woo-woo that went on in terms of predictive analysis. And so you mentioned, without, I guess, maybe you obviously wouldn't give away your secret sauce, but you talked about these behavioral components that you're looking at. What maybe if you can specifically maybe talk about some of those behaviors and what are those behaviors that give people a propensity to buy certain types of stock?
Wow. Nice one, Chris. So behavior is an interesting one because it's either random or it's structured, right? So if we go to, I don't know, you guys go for a beer afterwards at Budweiser, if it's like a big networking event, it's all random. If for whatever reason you guys know that there's going to be a free vodka bar at 9 p.m. or whatever you guys drink, you will start behaving in a different way. You are no longer random. At 9 p.m. tonight, there'll be a free vodka bar in the corner. You will start going there. You will start sort of exhibiting certain structure type thing. And, 8:59, that's it. Dan's there already, basically. So I think that's the difference between random. Sorry, Dan, I've made presumptuous assumptions about Budweiser and vodka. Is that a fair assumption? Sorry.
Yeah.
Is that
I love how people from England
doesn't drink. Okay.
Think about Americans. It's just great.
But I'd be there at 8:54.
Yeah, go ahead. 8:54. Chris will be there. Okay, that's it. So Chris, you are no longer random. You are no longer, networking, schmoozing around the room because you have some information, something, you start behaving the same way. You tell your colleagues, everybody's going to be there at 8:58, basically. And that's what it is. That's what we do with the order flow. We pick up this non-structured random order flow. And then at some point, when the whole crowd knows, at 8:59 or whatever, they'll be there. That is a behavior. That's a structure.
And it does it that quickly. So like a Bitcoin is, let's say, 34,000 right now.
Yeah,
maybe 35. So let's say I'm thinking, should I buy or sell now? I can go onto your software and it'll tell me when to buy. Now, what does it work with the? There's also for the uninitiated, there's alternate currencies. It's not just Bitcoin and it's not just Ethereum. There's thousands of others. People make their own tokens or what have you. So does it work on the altcoins as well?
We track the top 5, so top 3 on the platforms. The Bitcoin, the Litecoin, the Ethereum. We just track the biggest ones because they're more liquid, so it makes it easier to get that one.
A lot of the other companies they'll track. They'll fall a lot more, harder, and they'll track with that. Okay, so I have are you comfortable making some predictions?
Okay, so listen, as I said, careful about sort of bespoke financial advice. So we've had down flags, we've had down directions on Bitcoin.
Yes.
In the past few hours, basically. So that's quite interesting. So I said, it's good. We're recorded. We're live now, basically. But we're expecting definitely downside risk on the Bitcoin. Once again, I have to preface this. This is not financial advice. We're not regulated. We're just telling you what the software's saying. We're telling you what the order flow is saying.
Yeah, I know what you're just saying, but what everybody just heard is that Jeremy Sosabowski has just said sell. Okay, I got it. I understand how you are.
We're a bunch of PhDs from Cambridge, right? You know, we're not going to sort of get that, but you know, the software is just definitely suggesting downside.
How's business, by the way?
Okay, listen, business is good. It's been interesting. It's been very transformational, as I've seen you throughout the videos. Actually, I think the Bitcoin is so exciting because it's something people have been screaming for it. Because we've been selling to hedge funds, large banks, family offices. Bitcoin was within the past 2 weeks. We've sold about 3 licenses already. So that's, it's like, 1.5 per week type thing, which is quite staggering because typically it takes long sales cycle, 3 months, 6 months to get a large bank. But, we're selling it like hotcakes. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's insanity.
Tell me about it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You need some sales help there with that guy. So
well,
do you have a sales team?
We have a sales team. So there's a head of sales, and we have regional divisions to offices. So we got a guy in Canada, Tarun. We've got the UK guys, we've got the Middle East guys, so we've got a decent spread of
all right.
Of
we'll talk about that afterwards.
I think, yeah.
But what you're doing is so you're trying to take it away from the wealth manager and the people who are the advisors and give, not only do people now have the power to basically own a currency like this, you're giving them the power on to trade that currency. Absolutely. Individually.
Yeah. Well, individually, high net worth, ultra net worth family offices, it's a few million type portfolio, but it's the wealth managers are fine. But at some point we're talking to these successful entrepreneurs type thing is like, I want to do it myself. These private banks, these wealth managers, they're not always great. I mean, some of them are great, obviously. Sorry, I don't want to be so. But
they're using the same software that you're using. See, this is something that I've been talking about in my new program in regards to salespeople. Yeah. You salespeople now have all the power. Yeah. You have the same database that the big companies have. You have the same CRM systems that these big companies used to have to give you. You have the same information that they can get for $30 a month. I don't know what your software costs, but in essence, for a subscription model, you can get everything that IBM has.
Probably better than IBM, actually, considering what we're doing, I would say. So, sorry, that was not a presumptuous statement. I think it's just we are number
because
one.
they're an American. You just hate Americans, don't you?
No,
I understand exactly. It's this xenophobia that's dripping out of the mouth of Jeremy is palpable. The world hears it.
I'm a happy Amazon customer. I'm a happy eBay customer. Come on, now that's not fair.
That's right. He's going to go to. Does somebody need a very high, a very strong computer to work your software? Is it that dynamic that they need the extra power?
So
what would be the good computer for them to have?
Well, listen, I'm being blunt. We're using the Amazon, the web service, and that's fine. And then the really exciting bit is some of it is happening on quantum computers in Canada. So there's a Canadian company called D-Wave. So some of our calculations are being done on a quantum computer, and that in itself it is so remarkable, actually, because the Googles, the IBM still haven't cracked it, and we're there in Canada running away with our calculations, actually. So it's fascinating what's going on, Dan.
Really?
Yes, you heard it first on your show, base. Yes, absolutely. So there'll be a follow-up webinar.
We deal with quantum physics very often here on Dan Jordan Live. I mean, this isn't the first time that we're playing with. I just like the word quantum. That's very cool. So it's that. So has it enough with the fancy stuff? Have you been accurate? Like, what are your odds?
Yes. So I can talk about some of the clients we're working with in California. There's a lovely family office. So just taking the stock market, US stock market, we can typically outperform it about 20, 30%, basically. That's 20, 30% outperformance on the NASDAQ. So
wait, are you buying, I guess, are you making predictions on market movements or on particular stocks?
Both. But the market. Well, of course. Come on. What do you think we've been doing here, Dan? So it's stocks and market. Just the market.
No, you guys with the funny accents. I think you just all, they're going hip and going to the pub and having some fish and chips. Or Indian food. Indian
food
food is probably is bigger.
Indians are bigger actually, and fish and chips. So so it's a big single stocks, index benchmarks, sectors, cryptocurrency, the whole lot. As long as it is traded, as long as we can get the exchange data, the data flow,
this is day trading up and down.
I would call it day to week, actually. So it's not the day. It's usually, you get your flag, your direction. It usually lasts a few days or a few weeks, and then you can get in and out. So it's not, we're not advocating sitting in front of your computer all day. It's rather, at the end of the day, you can make a decision about, should I buy some more? Should I buy some less? So, you can do your day job.
Have you been caught off guard for something ever?
Yes, I need to say this. Your Elon Musk tweeting, messing up the crypto markets. We didn't get that.
Now I'm responsible for Elon Musk. He bought a million. He bought $1 million.
It was a bit suspicious.
Coins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and then he dumped. So that caught you off guard.
Strange, we didn't get that one. We did not get that one. But it's not the way we work. We don't track Elon Musk tweets, right? That's not the business. That's not what we do.
That's very, by the way, I'm going to take back everything I ever thought about you prior to this meeting, because I think you're a great salesman.
Thank you.
I think you're just quirky enough to be believable and sincere. Yeah, I think this
plus, Stan, I don't think we've ever had a guest that has busted your chops as much as Jeremy has over here. No, I'm enjoying this, Jeremy.
Quality.
I'm sitting back and watching the fireworks here. So it's nice.
By the way, I see. It's funny you're saying that. I didn't even feel that. I feel like I'm back home in New Jersey. This is like,
Dad. I used to work in New Jersey. Actually, this was one of these student jobs. So I'm familiar. It's okay.
That's right.
Lovely.
I like to tell people it's the only place in the country where up yours is a greeting. How you doing?
Well, okay, that's a different part of Jersey, I guess, but okay.
That's a much more refined part of Jersey.
That's right. You see, he's very quick-witted. I'm talking about you like you're not here now, Jeremy. He's very, very quick. So this is actually, so you got started with this business. You got a bunch of other engineers around you that are continually updating and refining and taking care of this. Where do you see this going? Do you ever see this thing being bought by a big market trader, or governments can start using this just as easily as anyone?
The Treasury Department, everything else. Listen, it's a great company. We've taken a bit of investment. We've taken a bit of venture capital. We're going to build a great company, and that's the story, guys. And there might be some exit at some point, but it's what we hear it from our investors. You don't build a company to exit. You build a great company that does well and makes good profit, basically. And I think the rest will sort itself out, basically. So we are building a great company. We are doing very cutting edge technology. We're growing our client base around the world. We're adding real value. I think, Dan, your analogy is it's a bit like, you've got $100 bill and you sell it for $10. I believe we're definitely one of those.
Yes,
and I think we definitely fall in that category. So I think that.
I think that's so. And so, how are you getting again for the car buying public here who may be watching? Who is your perfect client, and how are you getting the news out to them?
Yeah. Okay. So, high net worth, ultra high net worth. So a few million in your portfolio, a few million upwards type thing, and it's been word of mouth. So happy customers, they talk to each other. So the first generation technology entrepreneurs, they're great customers, because they've just made some money, basically, and they don't quite trust the wealth managers or the private banks yet. So that's a good customer. The family offices too, the multi-generational wealth thing. And then, we do sell to the wealth managers and the hedge funds too, actually. So
how's life over there in Cambridge? Are you guys out and about, or
it's different?
Are you muzzled up?
Well, my second vaccine jab is on Saturday, so I'll be.
Do you actually call it the jab? Do people actually do that?
I call it the jab.
Yeah, I've been out of traditional, culture and news I've for the past year. I don't know what the heck. But you actually call it that? I thought that was like an insult. I'm going to get jabbed.
No, call it the jab. You got it. You get the jab.
All right. Okay. So if you're not jabbed, what's your life? Are you out and about? Can you walk out? I know it's always raining there.
Yeah. So fine outside. The international travel it's a bit disappointing because I used to be in Hong Kong, 4 times a year type thing, New York. So there's not much international travel, which has been a bit like, okay. So, it's all Zoom now, isn't it? It's all online, which works both ways. But I used to like traveling, these conferences and everything else.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like that.
So you can't get back at, are you planning on doing that once it opens up again?
Probably.
I think that would be really good.
It'll be nice. It'll be nice, actually.
And now, if you're going for the individual, do you do any like kind of conferences or boot camps or like tours where you could just go and somebody's talking about it and you're marketing them out and getting hundreds of people in a room and then showing your wares?
The webinars. So we have these webinars, several times a quarter, actually. Very well attended,
Oh, really?
And good conversion, people get it, do the demo. But otherwise, just reach out, guys. I mean, girls, there's a AlgoDynamix.com. There's a newsletter. I think there's a contact form. I think just there we go. Join the mailing list. Thank you, Chris. Good. Just subscribe and you'll get the updates.
Well, so how much does this thing cost?
Listen, for the smaller packages, sort of limited AUM, it starts a few $1,000s a month. That's sort of the entry thing. And then if you want,
it was funny. I was talking to a guy yesterday. I walked into his office and I was knocking because I didn't know what they did, and I just saw somebody there for the first time. So I knocked on the door and I said, "Hi to him." I said, "Hey, what do you guys do here?" And he told me, "Oh, we're a BMO company." Like I have any idea what that is.
That's my next question.
I have no idea. And it sounded very similar to something you just said, Jeremy. I have no idea. You said for a typical blah 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 company.
Oh, okay. There you go. So it's what financial instruments, what markets do you want? What is your portfolio? There's quite a few questions. It's subscription based, but we need more parameters.
Okay, so just for a few, what do you call those things? What are those little segments called? You gave initials.
Oh, AUM. AUM.
Your
portfolio, your wealth, your wealth, basically. That sort of.
Okay, so let's say I want to. Oh, so based on how much loot you have. Okay,
it's in proportion to your portfolio size, basically.
Okay, so if somebody has $2 million that they're playing around with, how much does it cost for them?
I'll get our sales guys involved. That would probably be in sort of the 10,000 mark a quarter. We need to have we'd need further discussions about is this active, is this crypto, and is it US stocks, is it global stocks? But get from that sort of thing.
But the thing is, that may sound like a lot or a little to many of you, but with cryptocurrencies, you could make or lose that in a minute. I mean,
you better have the software then. I mean, that's you doing the pitch for me. Thank you. But I mean, seriously, it is so difficult. I mean, you've seen again today, right? I mean, you need insights. You can't read analysts, you can't do reports, you can't do earnings ratios, or everything else. You need insights.
Yeah, but this isn't. But because you're not doing any historical stuff, you really can't make long-term predictions. So that's the trade-off. You can't make the long-term predictions because you don't know what someone's going to behavior will be. There's too many different calculations, and other people are doing that anyway. But you can do spot on right now, and it's basically
few days, few weeks, and then it adds up. Because if you do a little calculation, okay, if you avoid the 20, if you stop losing 20% and you gain 20%, it adds up very quickly, Dan. It goes.
Yes.
So even long term, and we've sold to long term people. It's like, okay, you have long term, but why do we take away all your 20% down days?
Well, there was. There was a very recently Bitcoin was at 60.
Yeah.
And everybody was all that, and when it went from, it went from 60, it was down to 29 a little while ago.
Dan, you're talking about the past.
Thank you. Thank you.
They're not looking at that. They're looking at what's happening, what's going to happen. Right. It's sort of like the old Wayne Gretzky,
go where the puck goes. Yeah, nice one.
Go where the puck is go. I go where the puck is going, not where it is. Yeah.
Right. But if I had seen the arrows when it was at 60, we could have collected a little loot before we watched the whole thing go down.
It's another edition, actually, but we can show you what happened at 60, actually, with our directional things. It was just like, get out, basically. So
was it really?
It was flashing all over the place. Yeah. So that was quite topical. So I think, back to the pricing fees, like whatever we charge, it's we're selling you $100 bills, Dan, for 10. That's what we're doing. Let's be clear about this. It's market penetration, right? Happy customers. That's what we
Well, that's excellent. All right. So tell me about your family. You married, kids?
Family. Yes. Wife's around the corner. We have a cat, if that counts.
Oh, we have a cat too. What's your cat's name?
I've seen the cat on YouTube.
You've seen it on YouTube. Yes, good.
Yeah.
Alfie. Alfred's the cat basically. So we had a lockdown cat. So that's quite a lovely creature, very, very sociable. So
a lockdown cat. We in the business call that an LDC. It's a big lockdown cat.
Cats are also good for YouTube views.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, people want fluffy cats, don't they, Chris? I know they
absolutely, absolutely. But that was in the past. Who knows if they want fluffy cats in the future or vodka? Who knows? I mean, it could be anything.
So, do you guys go to pubs there? Are your pubs open?
Outside. So as long as it's outside, we could go in, but it gets we have to register, we have to log in, we have to it gets a bit messy. So I'd rather just stay outside. Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, go on, just stay outside. I know. It's like just stay outside.
All right. So here, what's your cat's name? Is it? Do you call him Alfie or Alfred? I like
Alfie.
Oh, you go for Alfie. Okay. And how long you been married?
We're not married. It's 12 years together now. So quite
why don't you get married?
Oh, come on. Yeah. Okay. One day. Yeah.
I mean, I think
he might. Okay.
Now
we're squirming, Dan.
I'd like backtrack.
Does she want to get married and you don't, or you want to get married and she don't?
I think we're both happy the way it is. Actually, just less pressure.
Yeah, okay. We should feed that. We should feed that behavior into the AI and see.
See what happens.
See what that behavior. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, the people start buying more if you get. Well, I'll tell you what I tell the young kids that live together for so long, and they always say, "Oh, what's the big deal? It's just a piece of paper." To which I say, if it's just a piece of paper, just sign it. And so obviously, it's not just a piece of paper. It's a little different. Okay. But remember I said earlier, I will not be offended by any answers you give.
Likewise.
But you can't be offended with any questions that I ask. Okay. So I think
this is a good show. I like this, Dan. This is it's a bit of a sort of reality show. It reminds me, unfortunately, was it Larry King Live? Did you remember him? Right. I think he's like, good down to earth questions, in a sort of non-hostile way. Actually, I really like that style. So
yeah. He had like 4 wives.
Yes, stick around, Jeremy. It could get hostile.
It's like, in that case, is there any point in getting married, right? Okay, so this is getting dangerous territory here.
Gosh,
she's right around the corner, apparently. So she may be.
She's right around the corner.
She's probably live, isn't she? She's on Facebook.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I think that's terrific. Okay, so if somebody is thinking about getting involved in cryptos or what have you, but having or just really in this type of more aggressive investing, what would you say to them to get them over the ledge? Just say, hey, do you have any? Come on, do you have any little offers? Do you have any trial runs? Do you have any action?
We'll have a frank discussion with them. That's usually me or one of the sales guys or gals. It's not advised about what do you want to achieve? What do you want? What was, a bit like you, Dan. It's like, what have you done before? Show us your portfolio. We could have saved you probably 60%. So Dan, what does that mean? We told you to get out at 60,000. Dan, tell me, what does that mean to you?
Oh my gosh, you could have saved me. 160%. You could have saved me.
We'll have that conversation. And, share some data.
That was a huge thing. But what about for teams? Let's say there's a team. Do you have things like? Oh, actually, it's based on the size of the portfolio. So if you can put together a portfolio of whatever, then it's based on that.
Yeah, we're working with family office groups. So there'll probably be a crypto fund. So there'll be a AlgoDynamix powered crypto fund, and that might be easier actually. You just put your money in there, and you just avoid the downside. So I think it's easier. But as I said, we're in that area where it's sort of
Can you pay? Can I pay you in crypto?
You can pay by credit card. You can do it online. We don't take crypto.
So here's the thing. That's one of those things in the world. As soon as you go buy a car, what do you call cars there?
Yeah, we call it automobiles.
Automobiles. That's right. Well, if I'm out purchasing an automobile with the boot, and I'm traveling, and I go to what's a fancy car there? Fiat? Do you guys sell Fiats over there? What's a
Bentley? Bentley.
Oh,
Actually,
Bentley, okay.
The Rolls.
That's
the
a
Rolls,
fancy
like
car everywhere. Yeah.
okay, it's not just in the UK.
Okay, so I go into the Bentley store to buy a car, and then I ask the salesman, "What are you driving?" And he says, "A Fiat." I mean, all of that, you immediately lose credibility.
No.
And so here I am, Jeremy. I want to invest, but oh no, you don't accept crypto.
We don't accept it.
Yeah,
Point taken. Thank you, Dan.
Okay. And you know what my dad would say to that? Du ligt de hint begraben, which means in Yiddish, there lies the bone that's buried. So whenever somebody's, when everybody, there's the little, I'm just putzing around you. I think that's just fun. It's just a little.
It's an interesting one. No, point taken. I think that.
It wasn't intended to make a point. Man, I want to go to Cambridge now. If everybody's like
come to Cambridge, we'll do a little video shoot or something. I don't know. You can run one of your sales workshops. I think, Dan. We can do like
we got to do
day outing type thing. Absolutely.
If I come to Cambridge, will they let me leave, or do I have to do some sort of, because I'm like a.
No, you're fine. You have to quarantine 5 days, though. You have to be locked up for 5 days, Dan. Can you be locked up for 5 days? Is that okay? No.
If I could be locked up for 5 days? What? No. Hey, so here's a question: what happens if if you break your lockup? Can you be arrested, or do you get fined, or dirty looks?
I think it's the dirty looks, Dan. It's
just dirty looks.
Well, listen, it's a sense of community. We all have to play our bit. I don't know about the fines. I don't know.
Okay,
I'm sure the
all
practicalities, but
you're already ready to break the rules, Dan. I mean, you hadn't even gone there, and you're already trying to figure out how to break the rule.
I want to go to Cambridge because I know in Canada they do have fines. It's like it's a big deal. Yeah, it's a big deal over there. But that's awesome. So, Jeremy, how did we meet?
Good one, actually. I think we are using the same CRM, Dan. Is that correct? We are both using SalesFlare. Is that what happened? I think that's what happened.
Right.
DeechFlare.
DeechFlare. Okay, DeechFlare. Good.
I'm a big fan of the Flare. Jerome. Yeah, it's
lovely software. Yeah.
Isn't it terrific software?
It is.
It's just very user friendly, and it's similar to your software. Your software is basically. What are the colors of the arrows?
There's a red one and there's a green one. That's what it is. So very simple.
I'm assuming that green goes up.
Yeah, green goes up.
Red goes down. All right,
that's it. And we have a test here, and we understand. Especially it has to be simple. A bit like the DeechFlare. Dan, if it's not simple, people are not going to use it. And it's not that we're not. Keep it simple. We're busy people. It's like, just tell me. It's like, we're busy.
So how is it charts, or is it just?
It's arrows and numbers and emails and API. So whatever you want, basically, you'll get it delivered.
And so I put in the stocks or
let us know which cryptos, which stocks, and we'll just add it to your platform, your subscription. Then you just get notifications, or there's a dashboard, or there's an email, or whatever you want, basically. So it's multi.
And then how many times a day?
Depending how you got, expect 1 or 2 actions per week, basically. So if you got crypto now, you would have had a down flag. There might be another down. I don't know. You have to wait, basically. But a few times a week per instrument.
So right now is a down flag.
Correct. Yeah.
And so is a down flag just sell, or are there variations to the down flag?
It's a case of all things being equal. It's a bit the analogy I use, actually. We've got a team in California too. The analogy I use sometimes is a bit like you go to Vegas and you start counting the cards. In the old days, you could go there, you could count the cards. So we are the super card counters, Dan, because we know what to look for, we know how to count, we know everything else, and we feed you back the information. It's like, well, listen, Dan, we've had 200 behavioral patterns there, so that's what we do. Back to your question, listen, depends. We could have another down flag, or we could have an end flag. This is a likely thing. If there's another down flag, that means really down. So let's if we get another one, we don't get often, but sometimes, back to your 60,000, when it was at 60,000 down, we had 2 down flags, 2 of them. Okay. That really big down. Yeah. So just giving you an example. So back to your thing again, why didn't you have our stop? Okay, let's talk about this afterwards. But that's what we do. That's really what we do.
Are there ever times where there's 2 up flags?
Yes, which is also nice. Haven't seen 2 up flags on crypto for a long while now.
Yeah, but when that mania starts,
It
and
may
it
or
just
may
goes,
not.
all right. Well, we need to stay in touch. Well, this is excellent. So, I think there are times where you could say that, that I always say that the most important part of any sale is the salesperson. In your case, however, the most important part of the sale is the prospecting. Get somebody that you have somebody's interested, because your product really can. It's unusual that this happens, but when your product is as good as yours is, it really does sell itself. You're selling $100 bills for $10.
$10, absolutely.
And
absolutely
you can just go there. So that's terrific. Well, I appreciate you for several reasons, but the most important one is this: you are you're an engineer, you're an educator, or you're in academia. And this I'm sure you've done it many times, but this is understandably out of your comfort zone to do something like this. And I think you're terrific for going ahead and doing it and playing with me, and certainly holding your own. What do you think, Chris Stone?
Awesome.
Chris is speechless. I think he's a bit short on words there, isn't it? It's like, we've never seen one of these before. What is this?
Yes,
great
and you got to. Yeah, so, would my shtick go over well in the UK?
I think it would. I think we get used to it, Dan. So as I said, let me know when you're flying over. Don't break the rules. We don't like rule breakers around here. You shall not break the rules, basically.
That is, by the way, a very kind of traditional American thing. Like because that's I'm a contrarian by nature. In fact, the reason why I got into crypto, and on a very small level, but whatever. The reason why I got into it is because I always use my mother as the the arbiter of what I should do, and so because she gets all her news. She is a woman of the people. So whatever it is that the common man knows, does, and thinks is right is my mom. And so when I asked her, should I do with crypto? She said, of course not. You should do that, which tells me I need to do the opposite. And so that's how I got into it. I use her to do the opposite.
Contrarian.
On that contrary view, because she is the common man. And so it did really well for a while. Gosh, I wish I had your flag.
It's okay. Gosh. Let's have that discussion, basically. But yeah, okay.
Okay, and I'll hook you up with some friends. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you coming here today. Chris Stone, masterful as usual. Does he not put together the perfect podcast? Everything.
Yeah, and the picture too. Was that you, Chris? But a really nice picture actually with Dan and myself. And
we got two good-looking men.
Good-looking, shiny. I mean, come on. What else is there to like? Okay.
What else is there?
Much appreciated it.
If I were your girlfriend there, or I don't know what to call her. She better, scoop you up right now and just ask you to marry you, because after that,
she's waiting. She's around the corner. I think she's around the corner. There's
okay, so you bring her a ring. Thank you guys so much for watching. And just remember, sometimes new things that come around the pipe, once you get into them, you realize they're not that new. Everything's based on behavior, and everybody wants to be successful and grow their portfolio. Sometimes you got to know where the money is, and if you get a little inside skinny with software like this, take advantage of it, or find the people who can take advantage of it and work that angle. You do that, and your future is sound. You're the best. I'm the Deej. Let's go get them today.
Thank you.